All right, I'm inside the R1S today, and I wanted to talk about, I guess, my reactions to the R2 videos that came out. I gotta apologize for my voice and my condition because my asthma is flaring up, and it's usually around this time of year, so apologies in advance. But I do have some notes, and I'm gonna warn you, if you go out and watch these videos, at least it's a warning from what I thought about the videos, because I thought these videos are gonna actually give more information, like information that I was looking for. Now, don't get me wrong, the videos themselves are actually pretty good if you were a regular consumer. I guess they're good videos for those who are not familiar with Rivian, who are not familiar or somewhat new to electric vehicles. I guess from that standpoint, they're good videos. But if you're already an existing Rivian owner, if you've owned electric vehicles, especially Tesla and Rivian, you're probably not gonna be more excited. I guess I don't know, because my excitement has not grown from these videos. I mean, I'm excited about R2, but I thought I would be even more excited after watching the videos, but it left me with more questions than answers. I mean, it did answer a few things, and out of all the videos, in my opinion, I think the best one is Doug DeMuro's video, because it's actually pretty comprehensive. He goes over a lot of the car, whereas everyone else is like 8 to 10 minutes of more of like an influencer thing. I don't know. I just don't like influencer videos. I look for content creators. But anyway, let's go over some of the notes that I've taken while watching the different videos. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was the suspension. So as many know, it's not the air suspension that you get with the R1s. The R2 does not have air suspension, but it's still unsure. At least I haven't gathered any information regarding whether it's like semi-dampened suspension, although it was mentioned in one of the videos, or if it's like frequency detecting like the Model Y. The touch button front, so that was confirmed, because when I was at the LA Auto Show, I noticed that, and I showed it in one of my videos about those 3-line button things, the touch capacitive button. It is a button that power opens but manually closes. There also is that similar button in the rear window, the glass that rolls down. There is a similar button there that power opens and power closes, as well as there's a button up top to control that as well. And there's also a button, I guess, to the left of it, that has like a number 5 that opens all 5 windows, the 2 in the front, 2 in the second row, and 1 in the rear. What I'm really excited for is the new button layout and scroll wheel on the steering wheel. Now there's more things that I noticed from those videos that I got out of. So they are capacitive from what they were saying, but when you reach the limit of the UI, so like let's say you're scrolling, it actually physically stops you. So that's a cool thing. I like that. So there'll be resistance to prevent you from to continue to scroll with those wheels. And they also can go side to side and diagonal. So a lot of functionality on those scroll wheels. I think it is a huge improvement from what the R1s have. Not to say that the existing controls on the steering wheel from the R1 are bad, but I think it's a huge improvement, at least for the R2. Now, speaking of which, the UI looks awesome. I'm very excited, and from what it looks like, from people who have posted, those are coming to Gen 2 R1s, maybe Gen 1, I'm not too sure. But I just like the layouts, the overlays and everything. They moved that car from the top left. It looks like it's part of the bottom row now, where you get that pop-up overlay of shortcuts to open the front and the trunk and all that. So that has improved, so I'm pretty excited about that. And when they were maneuvering around the UI, it looks even more fast. So I think Rivian Tracker had posted something about Unreal Engine being implemented into an upcoming update. So hopefully that's going to improve the performance, the responsiveness of the UI. Because we've already gotten one of those updates a few months ago, and it has improved it by a lot. And I'm even more excited to hear about additional UI improvements. So I'm pretty excited about that. As an R1 owner and not yet an R2 owner, that's really what I got out of those videos, is the excitement from what they were showing on the UI. Now, one thing I don't think they'll ever be able to fix unless they change the UI is on the screen behind the steering wheel. When you activate your turn signals, you'll get the camera view. It ends up blocking information behind it. I mean, maybe it's a little thing for many of you, but I guess for whatever reason, I like to change my volume controls or something as I'm turning. I don't know, but it's happened enough to where I kind of get irritated a little bit, where it's kind of like, okay, well, it's blocking that part, you know, when I'm doing my left turn. I don't know. I just wanted to bring it out there. I just wanted to share with you that. Maybe I'm nitpicking. Now, the 2 glove box is pretty cool. I like that. But I wonder if the under the seat storage is still there. Now, they have removed it in the front passenger seat, and maybe that's because of the 12-volt battery being relocated there. I'm not too sure. Is the R2 12-volt battery also underneath the passenger seat? Again, I'm not sure. So I have to be careful about some of the things I talk about, because I don't want to be too biased being an R1 owner. Yes, the R2 is supposed to be a more affordable vehicle with less features. So I'm trying to not be negative about the R2 for not having specific things. And so with that, like, I was actually surprised that it had less outlets. It does have outlets. It has outlets in the trunk area, but no outlets in the second row. Also in the second row, there is no screen where you could control temperatures and all that, but you can't control the heated seats. I also did not notice any USB-C ports right below those vents. There are USB-C ports behind the headrest of the front seat, so that's cool that they kept it there. Now, one of the videos did show of the V2L adapter when they were showing the rooftop tent accessory. So that was pretty cool, because you can use the V2L to plug in the rooftop tent so that you have ventilation in the rooftop tent, and also some LED lights in there. So that's pretty cool. I guess that's another way you can use a more powerful air compressor, because the R2 does not, at least I don't think it comes equipped, even at the highest trim, it may not be equipped with an air compressor unlike the R1's does. The other thing that was mentioned is the R2 is a unibody versus body on frame with the R1. This helps reduce the weight of the vehicle. I don't know where that comes into factor as far as repairability. If you get into an accident, would it be more expensive? If you need to get to the battery for repairs, would repairs cost more? Not sure. We don't know, because it's still too early to tell. Now, there have been posts about 10 to 80% charging times in 30 minutes. Now, my thought on this, sure, it does sound bad, because Rivian has the opportunity to improve that and even go above and beyond its competitors, especially the Model Y. But in my point of view, and from my perspective, currently the Rivian vehicles are having a hard time with temperatures, especially when charging. And I've shared with you all my charging experience with this Gen 2 R1S large pack, that it just will float around 120 to 130 kilowatt in speed. And especially in the summer, when we've taken it to Las Vegas, you can't run air conditioning and wait in the car while charging in the summer in the Southwest region without the car screaming at you saying you need to turn off the air conditioner because it's going to impact charging performance. I've had no issues with that. Same areas with the Model X, with the Cybertruck, and with the Model Y. No issues at all. With that said, I think this is a safe play for them to just keep it that way where it matches competitors rather than increase its speed, because maybe they haven't solved that yet. Or maybe it would cost more for them to produce the vehicle to improve battery temperatures, management and all that, which entails to increasing the price of the R2. Maybe later on, different versions, newer versions, future versions will improve on that. But I think this is just a safe play for them to just try to match what competitors have. Sure, there are other competitors. I think Out of Spec did a pretty good video about comparing the R2 with the Model Y and I think the BMW and the Mercedes competitors, and I think one of them actually does a really great job at charging. I'm not going to mention the Chinese EVs where they could charge crazy fast. I'm just talking about North American EVs that are available for mainly US customers to purchase, because that's what we have, and that's the kind of cars that I can probably get my hands on. But yeah, I think this is just a safe play for them. So it didn't surprise me that they didn't go, 10 to 80% in 15 minutes, 20 minutes to try to beat the competition. And at the same time, it could be bad during the summertime because they may have not resolved those issues with cooling and everything. So those are just my thoughts. I was really hoping that Kyle from Out of Spec would get his hands on the R2, but I think these initial videos was mainly to just introduce R2 to the general public. That's why these specific channels have been given access to them, because they're the global ambassadors. I don't know, but yeah, I was hoping like Out of Spec would get a video on it. I was hoping like Brandon would get a video on it. Like other more EV focused people would get their hands on it, simply because I know what to expect from them. Information like that I'm really looking for. Like one thing that I really am curious about is, and I mentioned it in my one of my videos that I did like a review, like a 60-day, 2 months later review of the R1S, that ping-ponging within the lanes, right? And so some of you have commented, yeah, that is a known thing because of the shorter wheelbase, because the R1T drove really well compared to the R1S. It drove, man, it's just night and day. Because of the shorter wheelbase, well, the R2 has even more of a shorter wheelbase. Will that affect the driving experience? Would it continue to ping pong, like the R1S? And it's not all the time that it happens, but it happens enough that it's noticeable. So I'm curious about that. Whether those people who had early access to the R2 were allowed to say things like that, or they did not consider it because they don't own an R1S. I don't know, but that's something that I'm curious about. And hopefully when it does become available, I could get my hands on it on a demo drive, because that's something that's important to me. I'm just here to share my thoughts. I'm not here to encourage you, oh, the R2 is going to be the best car or whatever, right? This is not the channel for that. If you came here to this channel, I'm sorry, wrong channel, change channels, I don't know. But just sharing my thoughts about it, my honest thoughts. Never driven the R2. I've seen it in person. I'm still excited, but I'm not more excited about it after today's videos. So what I am excited is, it is getting closer. The UI that they shown on the R2, hoping that it will become available. I'm hearing that it will be available for the R1s, so I'm actually more excited about those changes. I can't wait for those changes to arrive. Now, am I going to trade the R1 for the R2? I don't think so, because that would leave me with 3 EVs with 5 seats, which I had before, and yeah, no. Will I trade the Model Y Juniper for the R2? I cannot answer that question because I still don't know much about the R2. Even after today, I'm still not knowing. Tesla already did a great job at improving from a great vehicle. The Gen 1 Model Ys were already a great car to begin with, but I was just blown away by how Tesla improved on that. So it's going to be a really tough sell for me to replace the Juniper with an R2. Can they coexist? Maybe. I don't know. But I have way too many cars in the driveway. But yeah, I just wanted to share with you my thoughts after watching today's videos. Go ahead and watch it yourself and let me know what you think about the videos that you watched. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, please like. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. If you haven't checked out the LA Auto Show video where I go through and just check out the R2 up close, go check it out. See you on the next one.